Hello and welcome. We are back with another entry of Honey's Horror. I am Raiden. This is Blood Honey, and I am, of course, the more horror fanatic as opposed to she not being so much. But we had just got done watching Never Hike Alone. This is the Friday the 13th fan film that was released 3 years ago, with tomorrow being the release date of Never Hike in the Snow. So in preparation for that, we went ahead and watched this. Now this is the first time her watching this, and we are in the also in the middle of our Friday the 13th review series. She has only watched the first two movies in the series so far. So walking away from this, how do you feel about it?
I thought it was really awesome. I don't know what their goal was, if they met it, went beyond it, but whatever the budget ended up being, it was awesome. The effects were awesome. It was just really well done. So bravo, guys and gals.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll definitely agree with that. Yeah, I don't remember, because I didn't follow too closely the first time around when it was released, so I'm not sure the exact budget that they had for it. But for whatever money that they did have, I mean, they certainly put it to good use. I mean, right from the start, you see just how well the cinematography is, and just, I mean, how everything was well lit. I mean, it looked as legit as you can be, just short of just having the stamp of Hollywood approval, so to speak. I mean, yeah, right from the start, I gotta say that they did a really good job there. Now they're introducing us to this character named Adam, who is all alone hiking in the woods, sort of vlogging his whole experience throughout. And of course, the first part of it is really just him kind of, going through the motions, just him just kind of doing his thing. And of course, eventually he comes across the Camp Crystal Lake site, and that's when he starts rediscovering all the stuff that's there, and he, starts kind of like reminiscing on the history of all of that. Now, how did you feel about the whole build up leading to that and the character himself?
Um, you, I feel like it was a character you can get invested in. I'm like, I was wondering, okay, what's gonna happen with this guy, and how does this all play out? Yeah, the unmarked trail. I'm like, yeah, that. And then he finds the sign. I'm like, yo, you know what you're getting into, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. And the interesting thing is that knowing this is just under an hour long, and of course you realize right at the start that it's just basically one guy carrying this whole thing, and so you're not expecting, like, of course, a whole big body count or anything, or what you would normally expect from something like this. So as far as like the pacing, they actually did a very good job, just really setting themselves up for just such a short period of time, but at the same time being able to tell the story that they're trying to tell without trying to drag on too long or them trying to do too much. And of course, like I said, he does eventually find the actual Camp Crystal Lake, and then Jason himself shows up, and he definitely puts a beating on him at first. So how did you feel about this Jason in terms of the suspense factor once he kind of came into the picture?
Um, I really technically I have just the one Jason really to go off of, and then
Mm-hmm.
the one way later on.
Yep.
That it's been forever since I've seen that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna just have to say that they did a good job. Um, like the thunking around, the heavy footsteps was pretty cool
Mm-hmm.
because it's, well, yeah, he's kind of a lumbering dude. Uh, yeah, he so far it seems like it fits right in, and the I'd like to go on and say that the original kill count itself was there, technically speaking. So we really didn't need any like murders to happen. I mean, he got banged up.
Yeah.
Granted, technically, kind of, had that running.
Yeah.
He gave him the run around with the axe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. It kind of became like a chase film, like a cat and mouse type of thing, you could say. And that's interesting. Again, with this character, um, as it goes along, you do like quickly, like saying just such a short amount of time, you do become invested with this character, and you definitely see him as like a really strong protagonist, someone who could potentially, if this was a like legit film, you could see him kind of carrying a movie or even a couple of movies, and so yeah, so the back and forth between them is actually quite interesting, as I would say. Um, so like yeah, the whole chase, going out throughout the woods and just him playing on his survival instincts and doing what he needs to do to survive and not being afraid to go toe to toe against Jason. It led for some really interesting, exciting things. Like I said, and just such a very simple film. So it's kind of Blair Witchy in that aspect,
you know what?
with
I
the
kind of had that feeling
yeah,
too,
and
which is that film was, but yeah, it was like a you're filming yourself thing. It's what he was doing. It's the vlog part. So that's like the Blair Witch angle, but he's not like wetting his pants scared.
yeah,
He's not just your bubble-headed camp counselor. He's, a smart present day dude,
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I mean, the chase continues throughout the woods. At one point, he's chased away from Jason. And he goes back later on at night to go back for his gear to help fix a wound on his leg, which I know that you cringed at a little bit because you don't like that kind of stuff. But
well, no, I was just reacting knowing
yeah,
oh man, yeah,
yeah,
that's gotta hurt. And it was kind of his fault. Should have been a little more aware, kind of knew where he was because he saw that to begin with. But yeah,
yeah, and
it
that's
was really good.
Yeah, and I'll give credit to the effects team as well for what they did. I mean, it looked really good. I mean, you see even bigger budget films that have far weaker effects for something like that, but simple like little splice in the leg right there. It looked pretty good, and the blood didn't look discolored or anything. It is
the cut looked awesome. The part you're referring to that I was like reacting to was just sewing himself. I'm like, ooh. Yeah, without some sort of anesthetic or take a swig of alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you expect him to be a survivalist, so I mean, man's got to do what he's got to do, right? And so so after that, he encounters Jason again, and Jason stabs him right by the gut, and he gets Jason right there in the neck and everything, and so they both go down. And so after that, he's trying to get away yet again, and then he sees Jason get up after he pulls the axe out of his neck. And then, of course, we come to the little sequence right there at the lake where Jason jumps out of the water. Of course, very reminiscent of the original, and a couple other times in the series where you
kind of see on that one too.
Yeah. That shot looked really good, I gotta say, when he jumps out and he's starting to crush his head. That was another really
that
good
was one of the effects I was talking about. Like,
yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna like rip his head off, but it just went for a crush sort of thing.
Yeah. You weren't really sure. It's just, maybe he's about to rip his head clean off, or just like, but
like a crushing rip.
Yeah. And again,
still.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, an effect like that for such a low budget, that's hard to pull off for what little bit of it that they did show. I'll give them credit for that as well. But you do see again that it is a dream sequence, which of course we've seen a couple times throughout the series, and a couple more times we'll see. But so it's kind of a good play on that. But it's actually done well enough here where you see him actually wake up in the ambulance, and then the whole follow and the one medic guy again for
Yeah, let's just leave that up
the
to
beard on that van, Jay.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta give you credit. I mean, that's a great line right there. That's hilarious.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
like in just one line, you could just tell that he is just that one kind of douchey '80s character. That's like the one guy in back in Halloween 2, the one who was a real jerk when we were watching that one. Characters like that.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, just
Yep.
like I said, just one little line thrown. You can tell. Yeah, he's that guy. So, and then you see the one mechanic with the name on the tag. You see Tommy Jarvis, who's actually played by Tom Matthews. Now I know you don't really, again, we haven't seen that film yet, and what that character is, but we'll get to that point. But yeah, that is actually very cool that they got to have him be a part of this. And
Well, I recognize the name from you playing the game.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but like I said, a couple movies, we'll get into that whole
Yeah.
situation and lore. So yeah, that'll be fun. So yeah, I mean, and it ends with him, like after the medics are killed off. It ends with him driving the dude off in the back of the ambulance, and Jason's kind of slowly walking towards him. It's like, I'm not done yet. So, and then
Good luck with keeping up.
yeah, it's just like I recognize that dude. Like I'm not letting them get away this time. But yeah, I mean, because I know that they will have follow-ups, I think, as well. Because the next one I think is technically a prequel, and then I think they'll do some other sequel ones if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, that's the end of Never Hike Alone. And so yeah, so overall, again, you have some pretty strong opinions. Any final thoughts on how you feel about it?
No, I wish I could have been a part of it. That's really cool. And any future ones, I'd hope that we can contribute. So I'd like to see what they've got planned, whether it's Halloween through and through or some other sort of project. I'm sure it's going to be really awesome,
Yeah, I mean, definitely for someone like me who, has been involved in stuff like this. I mean, like I said, just having been on TV a couple times, having been the actual killer, and I mean it when I say this. Is like when I just some shots of just me like walking, and when I've had moments on like that on camera, it's like I've always had that little sense of Jason persona just as I move about, just because it's a fun way to kind of draw from that sort of thing, just as being a fan. And then when you see stuff like this, it's like you wish there were more independent projects that you could be a part of that are as legit as this, because I love this kind of stuff. And doing this, whether I was the survivor or Jason himself, I mean, I know I don't have the size for Jason, but that would be something one day. Like, that would be so much fun to be able to do. Because just something about that, I don't know, I just get a kick out of it. But yeah, anyway, I mean, yeah, it's like I'd rank it as high as you could. I'd give it a solid 5 for what it is. I mean, for a film that's just under an hour, as a for fans by fans type of film, I mean, it does everything right. I can't really say too much about it. Like, for what they had to work with, they did a damn good job.
Yeah, it speaks for itself.
Yeah,
It really
exactly.
does.
Yep. Anyway, that will do it for our review of Never Hike Alone. We hope you enjoyed, and we will be back with more F13 content. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.